Hey everybody on YouTube, Karl Alexander here. In today's video, I'm doing a little bit of a video response to a Linus Tech Tips video that came out recently. That video was called What Killed VR? I'll put a link in the description there. This is just kind of my take on what's going on with VR and why it's not catching on quite as fast as people expected. And this is just my opinion. It's just a few things that I've been thinking of recently. And this is just after a few months of owning the Vive. So I hope you like the video. Let's get into it. So to get things rolling, VR is too expensive. Seriously, no matter what solution you look into, whether it's the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, or PlayStation VR, you're paying a serious price premium for an experience that is yet to find its place in the market. There are less expensive VR devices like the Gear VR and upcoming Google Daydream, but these provide very limited and honestly subpar experiences compared to the more premium VR headsets. It's brought up a lot, but Palmer Luckey's famous "if it's over $400, no one will buy it" quote seems to be coming true. Even after using the Vive for almost 3 months, the price is still just too prohibitive for me to recommend to the masses. At this point, you're investing in potential, not promise. VR-capable graphics cards and computer components have come down in price, but when the headset is $800, there's no getting around that price barrier. For most people, spending $1,000 to get VR is not worth it, and you can't really blame them. For enthusiasts like me, we'll pretty much pay whatever the cost, but people like me don't make up enough of the market to make a big impact. Also contributing to the expense of VR is the software. People are paying premium prices for titles that aren't even close to their normal 2D counterparts. A few games have found a nice price point median, but most are overpriced for the amount of content they provide. Until VR's pricing comes down, there will be serious adoption issues. There's just no getting around that. This is not the vacation you're looking for. Something that has consistently come up when people talk about VR is the idea of a virtual vacation. You know, putting on a headset and finding yourself on an empty beach in the Caribbean. Not only is this not the type of thing current VR tech is good at, it's also not very interesting if you were to do it. Tricking your eyes and body to some extent is pretty amazing in the Vive, but looking around at 3D mountains with still panoramas isn't the virtual vacation people are looking for. Sure, it may be great for showing your friends how cool VR is, but these are not things you spend hours doing. These types of experiences only cement the idea that virtual reality is a gimmick that will fade. More otherworldly experiences in the Vive certainly have some value, but that value is in the experience's novelty. Novelty wears out quick and leaves you without much to talk about. These types of experiences generally lack much interactivity, and honestly the amazing interactive gameplay of the lab and job simulator are what make them great. Being able to play around with things in VR is half the fun. So this idea that sitting on a static beach or looking at blurry 360 video will suddenly transport you to a new location is ridiculous. If you don't have anything to interact with, the fakeness of a virtual world becomes very apparent very quickly, which is why the novelty wears out so fast. If VR is going to succeed, the idea of virtual vacations needs to go away. The lackluster experience and value these titles give may be what people think they want, but in the end it won't fulfill the promise, and could turn potential adopters away from virtual reality for good. VR is hard to explain. For people who aren't enthusiasts, the VR landscape is difficult to understand. Trying to explain the merits of the Vive compared to the Oculus or vice versa seems halfway impossible. Also, just the concept of positional tracking compared to simple rotational tracking goes beyond what most people can really grasp if they haven't tried VR themselves. A lot of people I meet seem to understand the concepts, but just have trouble imagining what they really mean. So many have tried subpar VR experiences like the Gear VR and think that's what VR really is. Using a high quality headset like the Rift or a room scale environment like the Vive totally changes one's perception of virtual reality, but until someone tries it, it's almost impossible to explain. And until more people try it and more people can understand, it'll be a niche market. Where are all the killer apps? What pushed me over the edge in buying VR was the announcement of Fallout 4 support. Now, I've never been shy about my love of Bethesda games, and I do understand that Fallout 4 has been a bit of a mixed bag as far as people's impressions. But either way, it's exciting to see a AAA title getting a full VR remake. But the issue here is that that's at least 9 months away. In the meantime, what the hell can I play? Virtual reality appears to have a large selection of titles on both the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift, but the issue comes down to quality and innovation. On the HTC Vive scene, you have a seemingly endless list of VR-capable games, yet they all look like crap. There are some gems hidden inside those pages, but for the most part, the Vive's catalog consists of early access games. They're trying new things and developing ideas, but seem to be mostly concepts, not fully fleshed out games that can keep you entertained for hours. On the other side of the fence, Oculus has high-end, fancy-looking titles that are painfully traditional. Without the motion controls of the Vive, the Oculus's lineup has mostly been dominated by games that have no real reason to be in VR, except that they need software. A game like Lucky's Tale may be well made, but there's no reason for it to be in VR, and if it wasn't in VR, it wouldn't be noteworthy at all. It's a catch-22. You can't get good, high-quality software from big developers if no one is buying for the platform. But you also can't sell VR headsets without good software. Overall, there's still much to be done in the VR space. I hope the current install base can justify new and exciting software to be developed by larger studios. The HTC Vive is an incredible piece of tech with a lackluster collection of software to go with it. I've really enjoyed my first few months of VR and have found several titles that keep me coming back. But there still hasn't been that title that just dominated my thoughts. I haven't been standing around at work thinking about what VR title I'll play when I get home. I haven't been hyped about anything new. Room scale VR and VR in general is amazing and is something the world has never seen before. But until the software matures, the entire ecosystem could be headed towards another freefall, just like the 1990s. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. At least until Fallout 4 gets released. Okay everybody, that was my video for this week. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, I think you know what to do. Leave me a comment in the comment section and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this one in the future. Coming up next week, or sometime during the week, I'm going to be doing a Skyrim versus Skyrim Special Edition performance comparison on PC. And then actually, hopefully only a few days later, I'm going to be doing a more generalized video on my thoughts about the new Skyrim Special Edition. So I hope you stick around for those, and I'll see you then.